What's up, everybody? I'm here with Wayne Lozinak of Hatebreed.
Yes, how's it going?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. We were just talking about, you're wearing your Kill Switch shirt, and I helped out with that Alive or Just Brewing beer, that Cigar City beer, and you guys have the Hate Breed Brew.
Breedbrew.
Yeah, the lager, and you said your bass player was actually the one that found the brewery. Which Doctor Brewing? Sorry.
Yes, he lives kind of in the area, so he hooked up with them, and they said they were interested in doing it, and we just took it from there. We've actually had some small social distanced events there, like beer tasting events, kind of like slash meet and greets, which actually went very well.
That's awesome.
Sold a lot of beer, and it was a good turnout finally for after not doing anything for over a year now. Our last tour was last October, so at least it was kind of some kind of normalcy, I guess you could say.
Right, right, man. It's wow since last year, huh?
Yeah, because we our last tour ended in October, and right from there we went right into the studio in November to start recording the new album. So the album's been done since pretty much January. We've just been waiting for it to come out. We had a whole world tour booked. We were going to leave in March. The album was supposed to come out in May, and then everything just kind of got rescheduled.
Yeah, that's banana. The album's called Weight of the False Self, right?
Yes.
Weight of the False Self. I know you guys have a new video out right now for it, The Instinctive Slaughterlust.
Slaughterlust, which is a word that Jamie made up, which it sounds cool. I guess there's other bands like Repentless, like from Slayer. I guess there's been some other bands, so he kind of wanted to throw his hand in that, and so that was pretty funny on that. But it's cool. People are digging it.
Did he give you what it means? Like slaughter, like you're just lusting for slaughter?
Sure, it's whatever you want it to mean. It's your interpretation of a word that was just made up specifically for this song.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, it's crazy. There is no point really. I seen a bunch of bands dropping records, during the quarantine, and it just felt like there was no. Not that there's no point. Obviously, you can always enjoy the music,
Right.
but with a band like Hatebreed, it's more specific to like the live shows.
Oh yeah,
You want to
definitely.
go
That's why
mosh and
But all right, people are like, "Are you going to do a live stream, like whatever, like in a studio, just playing?" I'm like, it's a possibility. I'll do whatever at this point, but it's just not the same. I mean, our fans want to be moshing and jumping all over each other, and part of the Hatebreed experience show is feeding off the live audience. Like it's the energy thing. We're not the kind of like just kind of dream theater type band where you're just going to sit in your seat and mesmerized by all the technical playing that's going on, but
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, it's rough, dude. And then, even after I think the things are starting to open up, you guys have a festival booked for next October, right?
Next out, yeah, well, a year from now,
A
basically.
year from now, which is crazy to think, especially how this year has felt like 20 years.
Right.
So,
Actually, we're scheduled technically for March to go to Europe with Parkway Drive, but who knows if that's going to happen. It's basically, I think right now it's just a placeholder. Like if stuff magically opens up, it's like, okay, well, it's open. We're booked. We got
right.
the tour booked, but who knows at this point.
Yeah, and I've seen like big festivals doing this weird, like they do a little caged, fenced off areas for each group of people that show up to the show, and I'm like, that's
Right.
still not good.
Yeah. There's a place in Connecticut where it's like South Farms or something, and I was looking at pictures, and it's like there's a square where you can like it's an outside thing. You could bring like a beach chair for two people only. So they're like squares, like I don't even know, 8 feet apart for two people per square, and it just that's not the same.
Oh
That's
man.
not going to work for us.
Yeah, I'm like, I'd probably end up running over to somebody else's square and trying to,
Oh yeah,
stage dive on them.
exactly. Yeah, with our crowd, definitely, especially if everyone's drinking, that's not going to last.
Yeah, yeah, it's rough, man. But hey, I do appreciate that there are people still trying to make
Oh
something
yeah, it's
happen.
a start. I
Yeah,
mean, they're mostly like blues bands and rock bands and stuff, which I can see that. But for us, I don't think that would work too well.
no, no, no. And so this new album, November 27th, coming out through Nuclear Blast. Tell me a little bit about the writing. When trying to come up with, you guys have been doing this for a long time, and I would say metal music is kind of evolved into different branches now. You know, you've got the gents and all.
Right.
So when trying to stay fresh but also keep that Hatebreed sound, like how do you approach that?
Exactly what you just said. We don't want to stray too far from the path. We kind of have this formula that's been working, the whole time. We're all fans of metal and hardcore, so we've always combined the two of them in some way. It might have been a little more, basic, I guess, in the early days, but we still always drew from both genres. So people are always arguing they're a hardcore band, no, they're a metal band. It's like, whatever makes you happy. We take both styles. So, but back in the day, we would all get in a room and kind of rehearse and kind of play and stuff. But now with all the technology, we go to this in the studio and just all have a bunch of riffs and just kind of put them together, record them while we're putting the songs together. And then we could try different things. We could put the riffs in different orders where they sound better, longer, shorter, try different drum beats. And then we get to listen to them like fully in a good studio setting to see what we like and what works and what doesn't. But it's still, it's basically the same thing. But I think on this album, in some songs, we tried to do a little more technical style for us metal things. There's like more solos on this album, which I'm actually happy about, which I think is cool. We don't have too many solos, so when I get the chance to throw some in there, it's always cool just for a little extra.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming you're a fan of old like solo guitarists. We recently lost one of the greats, Eddie Van Halen.
Oh yeah, legend.
And I wanted to ask you, like, was he a big influence on you growing up, or who were some of your biggest, guitar influences?
Yeah, when I first heard Eddie Van Halen and Eruption, obviously, when I was a little kid, I was like, wow, this is insane. Especially if you think about it back, that was like 1978. And, nobody was doing stuff like that in the 70s. Once the 80s came, I think everyone was real flashy and kind of emulated that and tried to take it to the next level and all that stuff. But that was pretty amazing for the 70s for a guitar player like that. And I would say my main influences as a kid growing up, probably for lead guitarists go, Randy Rhoads and Kirk Hammett. Those are my two like inspirations when I was just learning how to play the guitar and not just making noise. Like I used to sit there and try and play, Blizzard of Oz and Master Puppets and all that stuff. So those are probably my two. I mean, there's tons of great guitar players, but I'd say those are two of my favorites. And James Hetfield for rhythm.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I would give the credit to Kirk Hammett and Randy Rhoads for me buying a guitar in the first place.
There you go. Yeah.
I would hear those solos in the Metallica songs. I'm just like, man, and I play like that. And I bought a guitar and I realized that I can't play like that. So
and a lot of people are like, I don't know what this new thing is with like, oh, Kirk Hammett sucks, and I was like, what are you talking about? You go listen to those, especially those old albums, like some of those solos were their own songs, like the melodies and everything, and then the fast stuff incorporated in between all that. It's like you don't have to play like a million miles an hour and sound like a video game to be a good guitar player. Like
right.
Some of these. But I don't know. To me, I think the solos he wrote were great.
Yeah, I keep hearing a lot of shit from people like, "Oh, he abuses the wah pedal." And
yeah,
whatever, man. It sounds cool. When I was a kid, I mean, and some of those, like, you go revisit some of those old Metallica songs, and without those songs, we wouldn't have a Mastodon. You know what I mean? We wouldn't have these newer bands. Like
he does. There's other bands I can think of that use the wah a little more. I won't name any, but I mean. He's whatever. If he throws it in there, who cares? It's cool. It's something different.
I'm a fan of noise, and as long as it sounds good, like sounds and noise. I like when people experiment with pedals. I obviously, if it becomes like to the point where it doesn't even sound like a guitar, then it's a little too far.
Yeah.
But even then, I'll still open. I'm still open to listening to it. Like I minus the Bear, for example. Those dudes, their guitar does not sound like a guitar.
Yeah,
at all.
Speaking of the wah, I actually used the wah pedal on When the Blade Drops on that solo. So not many wah parts in Hatebreed, but I had to add one in there.
And that song came out not too long ago, right?
That came out Valentine's Day, and it's actually just a standalone single just for streaming, which I guess that's a new thing that, you know, people are doing now, which I didn't even know about. They're like, well, everyone streams something anyway. So, you know, I would like to have a physical copy of it, even if it's a single bonus with bonus tracks. But I don't know. I guess it's the new day and age.
So that won't be on the record. That's all.
No, it's not on the. It was done during the same, you know, recording sessions, but it's not on the record.
I guess it's kind of like if you want to look at the old days of the 45s, you know, the single, like the one single that.
But which is fine. It's a physical copy though. This is like, even if we did that, it'd be like a CD single with different artwork, and you know, it's just streaming though, just digital. Like there's no way to actually have a CD or a 45 would 7-inch, whatever. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
cassette, anything.
Well, even maybe doing which magazine is it? Is it Decibel that does like the flexi vinyls?
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool to drop it that way at least, just to have something physical for it.
I think it's already, it's just out there, and that's it.
So you're more of a fan of having a physical thing in your hand, right? Like you're not.
I still, as I've gotten older and I have so many CDs and albums, I do stream a lot of stuff too, but it'd be cool to have the option. You know, because there are definitely people that would, especially because there is different artwork just for that single. If you look on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever you listen to, there's an actual different image just for that song, which actually is cool. So to have something with that I think would be cool.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, where do you draw inspiration to write like heavy riffs like you do with Hatebreed? Because I've noticed as I get older, I'm a little more pacified, you know what I mean? Like when I was in my teen years or my early 20s, Hatebreed and Pantera and all that, like that aggression was there because I had all that weird teenage angst, and I had all that anger of growing up and stress and all this stuff. As I've gotten older, I'm not as intense, I guess. So my question to you is, where are you drawing inspiration to?
I think it's just we're just a fan of that type of music, and once we get, like, we might listen to softer stuff after the show's over or on our days off, but we know when we're playing, we get together, it's just natural for the band's sound. Actually, Jamie and Chris are the main songwriters of the band too, so we kind of all get together and put it all together with our ideas, but they're actually the main songwriters of the band. Jamie writes all the lyrics, and then but it's just natural for us. We know we want it to sound like Hatebreed, and we still enjoy playing it and listening to bands like that. So hopefully, I don't think we could do anything else. It just wouldn't sound right.
Sure. Yeah. It's funny. I talked to Adam from Killswitch about, you know, what he listens to when he's not on stage, and he doesn't like listening to a lot of metal off stage because that's what he does.
Oh yeah,
and it makes sense. You know,
that's like, a lot of. You'd be surprised if you came on our bus after a show at like midnight, and Frank's got the iPod blaring. You'll hear like 80s Kiss, Blue Oyster Cult, and stuff like that, and like Lynyrd Skynyrd will be blasted. So it's like you think we're gonna have like this heavy thrashed up hardcore, but it kind of changes once we're off stage, since we play it all the time.
Right.
Yeah, and all the other bands too that we're opening up or we're opening up, you know, it's all day long. So you need variety every once in a while.
Yeah. If you talk to a Starbucks employee, they don't drink coffee as much as you think they do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Makes sense to me. But I wanted to go back a little bit to the beer again, and Breedbrew. How are you a big like craft beer guy? Are you?
I'm actually not. I'm a Coors Light kind of guy. So I'm pretty basic. So that's why I was happy. This one it's like a lighter of those kind of, you know, lagers. I'd say it's you know, it's heavier than Coors Light, but it's still light enough to where you can drink. It's not like a sipping beer. So, you know, I like to just chug them and get drunk. So that's just my thing.
Yeah, Frank's the same way. I had him on the show, and we were talking about that. How, you know, he's got the drinking league out in Orlando. Do you partake in that at all?
I haven't been. I've been to Florida Disney World with him and done it, but not the actual team that he has going on. But yeah, he does like the drinking around the world, where they go to Epcot, and every country they have at least one beer or one drink, and they start wherever it starts, and by the time they end up, I think maybe it's I don't know if it's England is the last one in the pub or whatever, and then they're all pretty wasted. I've heard the stories though.
So you just drink when you're on stage? Do you drink, or is it something that you reserve for after?
No, I wait. I usually do after.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Frank is one of the only ones that usually will drink during the show.
Yeah.
Edie sometimes, but I'm just like, let me get the show done. I don't want to mess up. That's all I need.
You don't want to be sloppy during a solo, or
not.
Do you also, like, now that a lot of states this year with the elections have legalized marijuana, do you partake in that as well?
I actually don't. I don't really like it. I've tried it. I don't know what I have tons of friends who love it. I have some that smoke every day, all day. Some of our crew guys, they're smoking all day long. It's like, man, I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know if it affects me different, but it either puts me to sleep or it makes me like freak out, and I'm just like, my brain isn't gonna stop. I'm just like,
that's how it treats
stick to
everybody.
Beer. It's weird.
Everybody reacts that way. It's just a matter of people getting accustomed to or used to that feeling of paranoia.
Yeah, I'm not. And every once in a while, I'll be like, all right, let me try it again, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, it's weird. I get panicky depending on the type, I guess, the type of weed that is given to me. Some of it makes me sleepy. Like I've looked into it a little bit, and there are different strains, and some of it makes you sleepy, and some of it makes you mentally more.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's all different types now. Because I think one of the last times we got like cookies.
Oh,
so
no.
I ate like half a cookie. I'm like, I don't know, I don't feel anything. They're like, well, usually it takes like an hour to kick in or something. And I'm like, well, should I eat the rest of it? And I think I was with Matt or somebody, and he was like, yeah, why not? So I ate the rest of it. I ate the whole cookie, and I'm like, nothing's happening, man. Nothing's going on. And then there were like peanuts with it too. We had all, so I ate a couple of those, and all of a sudden it was like an hour to the minute that I took it. It just everything just started spinning. I was like, oh man. And it was like for hours. I thought I wasn't gonna stop, and I was never gonna get back to normal. I was like,
that's the problem with edibles. I prefer to smoke over edibles because when you eat it like that, there's really there's no way of knowing how much is in it, especially if you're getting it from like a friend who made it at home or something. If you're not getting it from a store.
I think this was like medical or something, like in Canada or something. It was from some place. I remember I was like, all right, well, why not? Let's try it out.
Yeah, I can't. I don't do a lot of the edibles unless it's like prepackaged and it tells you exactly how much is in it, and I'm like, all right, I can.
I wouldn't even know. I'd be like, is that a lot?
Yeah, I made a mistake. I went to Denver to the Red Rocks, and I went to see, I think it was Opeth and Gojira and Devin Townsend, and I just went to the store and I'm like, let me just get some stuff for the show and, let's have fun. And I just started eating stuff and not really paying attention to what I was eating. And then I look at the wrapper and I'm like, oh no, is 150 milligrams too much?
Yeah. I will say I'm glad it's becoming legal though, because to me it doesn't make sense how alcohol is legal but weed isn't. Because even though I drink and don't smoke, I still think alcohol is like way more dangerous of the effects and what people end up doing when they're drunk, and it's like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. And then all these states could be taxing it and making money because people are selling it in the streets. You could take those people off the streets, sell it, make money. It makes sense to me. I don't understand how people could not want that legal.
Yeah, and it would actually, I think, and this, maybe I'm being stupid saying this, but I think it would curb whatever. It would curb the use of it a little bit, because once it becomes legal, it kind of loses that mystique that people see in it.
Exactly. And I don't know anyone who doesn't smoke purely because it's illegal. I've never heard anyone say, oh, I don't smoke that, it's illegal. You either smoke it or you don't.
Yeah. I think it would help people be like, maybe I don't need to smoke because I could get it later.
Exactly.
Like before, when it wasn't available, you're like, well, I guess, let me get some now because who knows?
Right. Or maybe it would be really big at first just because of the whole new thing. But then once it got to just be a normal thing, it would just be like, oh, nothing.
Now my parents are doing it. I don't want
to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I just read that Oregon legalized all drugs.
Wow.
Like for personal use. So apparently you can carry cocaine and heroin on you.
All right, there you go.
Party town, Oregon. What's going on over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm all for people smoking and everything, but there's certain drugs that shouldn't you shouldn't really be walking around with heroin. That's kind of
that's deadly. Like, you don't want that.
that's a lot, man. That's a lot. But yeah, I agree with you with the beer, man, because alcohol can make people act differently too. Like it can make you aggressive.
Yeah.
I know some happy drunks, but I also know some very angry drunks.
Yeah, I know them all. Especially touring, we see it all.
Yeah, man. So once this whole thing opens up and you get to go back on the road, what are some of the major cities you want to hit? Like, where are you looking forward to going?
Anything at this point. I just want to play. I don't even care if it's a local bar. I just want to play music. But everywhere is great. Detroit's always good. Montreal's great. Connecticut is like, even because we're from Connecticut, those shows are insane. Our last show there, we did the 25th anniversary show with the Cro-Mags Obituary, and it was like 2,000 people at our headlining show. So that was great. But the festivals in Europe are really good. I don't know if you've ever been to one of those, but they're better than any festival in the U.S. has ever had.
Yeah, usually the lineups are insane.
Oh yeah, like
every time I see one of those flyers, I'm like, damn it, I want
to go. Hellfest in France, and Wacken in Germany, and Download in England, and Grass Pop in Belgium. They're huge.
Yeah, I would say I'm excited to see them come back. I know that, like you said, in March. Which one is it? Do you know which one you're playing?
Parkway Drive. This is March was supposed to be a tour, but yeah, next October is Aftershock in Sacramento, California. So we haven't played that one. I don't think yet. I don't know why, but I'm looking forward to that too.
I'm looking at the lineup right now, and it's insane. I think I might have to drive up for that.
Where are you located?
I'm in California. I'm in Los Angeles. So
okay, there you go.
That's not a bad drive. And we got Metallica. You got pretty much everyone. I think Metallica's playing 2 days.
Yeah, yep.
Rancid, Killswitch, Mastodon, like Offspring, Anthrax, like what the hell, man? Great. Is that live? Is that live the band? Because I see the word live, and I think they're on there.
I didn't see it. It could be. I don't remember all of them, but
you remember that band live? I mean,
yeah, I remember.
I can't believe they're still playing shows. That's insane. Thursday.
Well, we're playing the Limp Bizkit day. We're playing Thursday, so.
Yeah, man. Limp Bizkit, Hatebreed, Testament, Exodus, Knock Loose, Parkway Drive, and Fit for a King. That's a good day too.
Yeah,
that's insane. But that's exciting. I think I'm going to drive up for that.
Hopefully everything will be open by then, because who knows? I mean, that's a year from now.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully. I think so. I think by then we should have a vaccine. I mean, it seems to me that we're getting closer and closer, but then we got to convince everybody to take the vaccine. So
either that, or even just a treatment that if you get it, you take it, then it gets rid of it or something. Something
would be good. Anything.
Right.
Any bands you're listening to right now that are newer that maybe you'd want to bring on a tour with you?
I haven't even. There aren't really many newer bands I've been listening to, or people are like always asking, and I'm like, I kind of like, which mostly I listen to the bands we tour with because I'm listening every day, and then like you said, you go back and listen to the softer stuff because we're listening to heavy stuff so much. But I'd have to really, I gotta get back into it, the newer stuff, and kind of get myself educated. I'm starting to sound like an old man now, like our parents, like, what's that new music you're listening to these days?
That's that devil music.
Yeah, I'm sure there's good ones. I just gotta do some research.
Sure,
it's not like back, because that's another thing. Like back in the day, you'd go to the record store and you'd flip through the records and you'd see the display. And now everything's like online and just kind of scrolling through, and you kind of got to do some research.
Yeah. I mean, you could leave it up to the hands of the music gods with Spotify and do the Discover playlist thing.
I might have to do that. That's a good idea.
So do you have any other hobbies aside from music that you've been doing during the quarantine or anything?
Not really. The only thing I've been able to do more is ride my motorcycle. So I have more time to do that. You're social distanced enough to be where you're by yourself outside in the open. So I've been doing that a lot more, but Nothing else really.
Yeah.
Nothing too exciting.
No, like building a whole shack or a studio or.
No, I'm not good with that stuff.
Do you experiment with other types of music when you're playing guitar at home? Like, do you outside of Hatebreed, like
I mean, like a
hardcore,
little
thrash?
bit. Nothing like serious, I guess. But I'll like kind of when I'm just kind of hanging out or just jamming on the guitar. I'll just I like I said, but mostly like just probably the slot like classic rock would be like the lightest I get. I'm not really a jazz or classical guy. I think though that stuff is great. It's just not really my thing. But yeah, mostly just I would say 70s classic rock to thrash to hardcore and punk.
You're not starting a new synthwave project?
No, not doing that.
Playing with electronics on your phone?
No, not doing that. That's another thing with us. We don't have any tracks or anything live like all these other bands have these tracks. Like we wouldn't even know how to do that. Like we just play. We plug in and just play. Everything's live. None of us even have in-ear monitors. We're like cavemen just playing like
Play it louder.
Just playing how we play, blasting out everyone's ears.
Well, that's good, man. That's what adds that element of rawness to your shows. It makes I appreciate that, because when there is tracks and I'm watching a show and I see a band just standing there and there's music coming out of the speakers, it's kind of upsetting.
Like it's fine if you have some keyboards or a big orchestra thing. Obviously, you're not going to bring an orchestra on you, but when people have like other guitars and all that stuff, it's like, I don't know.
The one that hurts me the most is vocals. When I hear
like backup
harmonies, like get one of your bandmates to learn it. Like, what are you doing?
I'm sure I'm friends with some bands that do that, so I'm not trying to talk about you guys, but just my opinion. I'd rather see it if it could be done.
Right. Yeah. I feel that's the same way. Like, hey, do your thing. But however, as a consumer, I appreciate more when I see that everything that I'm hearing is actually being performed. You know what I mean?
I mean, I've seen there was some band, I'm not going to name names, and they're cool guys and everything. There was one band on Warped Tour where there was a full band playing, but none of them were playing live. It was all tracks, and it was just the singer singing. And I'm looking, and they didn't even have the drums mic'd. Like, literally weren't even making it look like. I'm like, you don't have a mic on the drum. I'm like, okay. But I was talking to the singers, like, yeah, man, what are you gonna do? Yep, no, he didn't care either. I'm like, it was kind of like but they were kind of like a synthy kind of. I don't even know what kind of music you call it, but
synthy metal.
Yeah, something like synth rock.
Synth rock. I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean,
so I could see it was entertaining. I'll say that but it's just weird when you have a full, like, why even bother having the band have like dancers or something more, on stage? I don't know.
Some fire dancers and stuff.
A video screen, laser lights.
Yeah, if you're gonna do that, at least have a ridiculous production.
Yeah.
I mean, that I can kind of excuse it, like you do with the Super Bowl, where they're obviously lip singing, but look at this crazy visual.
Exactly.
That you're
That's
seeing.
The Super Bowl, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Their guitars weren't even plugged in at the Super Bowl. They're like, well, we're obviously not really playing, so.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder sometimes if they do that on purpose. Like,
I think so. I think because they're obviously a real band that plays live. So I think some people that don't really like it, they're like, whatever, we'll do it, but we're not gonna pretend that.
Pretend.
Like we're not playing here, so deal with it. We're here to entertain you.
I did that once, man. I got paid to do fake keyboards in a Spanish rock band.
Wow.
My buddy called me up. He's like, "Hey, you want to make $175 real quick?" I'm like, "Sure." What am I doing?
Hey, man, I might do that too. Why not? You don't have to worry about messing up. Do whatever.
Yeah, I was like, man, I hope I don't have to, blow somebody. Like, what are we doing? And he's like, no, just come to this thing at like 7 a.m, which was ridiculous. And it was a TV studio, and it had this like Latin rock star lady that wanted to do a show. And I'm standing behind the keyboard. It's not plugged in at all. It's off, and the camera dude's like zooming in. I'm like, don't zoom into the.
Yeah, that's the thing you got to worry about when the cameras are coming into your fingers. Like, don't show that.
Yeah.
Then you'll know.
Yeah, then you'll know for sure, because I'm just going like this and like moving my head around, like, yeah, bud, I'm jamming. But hey, it makes her look good, and whatever. If that's what matters, that's what we're getting paid to do.
All about the show.
Well, I wanted to ask you if you had any good stories of hanging out with, like I saw you posted on your Instagram, hanging out with Armand of Sick of It All.
Oh, yeah.
Now you know Witty and all of them. Like, is there any stories that
well, that was just great for him to even come up to our beer event. That was our, like, you know, it was almost like, oh, that's because he came from New York, somewhere in New York. So, and like Southington's way at the top of towards the top of Connecticut. So for him just to come and hang out and try our beer. But there's nothing too crazy, I guess I could talk about. But we all have a good time when we're drinking. Usually once the good stuff happens, we're all forget the next day anyway. So I'd have to ask someone else.
That's when you know you've had a good time, when you can't remember it at all.
I let people tell me in my head.
Yeah, I tried to become more of a professional in that sense, where like I want to keep up with everyone in the drinking, but I also want to kind of remember that I had a good time.
I always say that when I start, and then by the end, it's like, well, I'm only gonna have a couple, and hours later, still going.
that's when you appreciate the few people that take that do like Instagram posts and take pictures of the situation.
Sometimes you don't want that.
Oh, well, yeah.
I've also found out.
Well, shit, man. Well, I appreciate your time, dude. I wanted to thank you for taking some time to even talk to me. I know that you probably got a bunch of interviews coming up with the new album.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I've definitely been doing a lot of. I think this is the most interviews I've done for any album for some reason. Maybe that's because nothing else is going on. They're like,
nothing else
might
to
as well do interviews.
But yeah, Weight of the False Self dropping November 27th. Nuclear Blast Records. Make sure you pick that up.
Pre-orders available right now on martyrstore.net.
There you go.
There's tons of merch. There's new merch T-shirts. There's the vinyl. There's CDs. I think we even have some glasses, Hatebreed glasses available. So go on there, martyrstore.net. Click on Hatebreed, and then you'll check out everything.
Glasses? You mean like sunglasses?
No, like drinking glasses.
Oh, right, yeah.
Although maybe that could be next. Sunglasses. Good. Maybe have to throw those in there.
Yeah. What about the beer? Is it available still, or is it all sold out?
It's only available in Connecticut right now. I guess there's a lot of legal stuff you have to go through and before we can get it to other states. But we're working on getting it to be able to ship everywhere, hopefully. But it's definitely available if you want to make a road trip up to Witch Doctor Brewing in Southington. You could pick some up, but we're working on getting the legalization it out.
I see. I'm gonna have to find some friends up there so they can ship me a 4-pack just so I can try it.
Yeah.
Well, all right, brother. Thank you so much. If somebody wants to follow you on social media and keep track of your doings aside from the band,
it is Wayne Lozinak on Instagram and Wayne Lozinak on Twitter. I don't do Facebook.
No Facebook.
No Facebook.
And Hatebreed's is it Hatebreed Official?
It's Hatebreed Official on Instagram and just Hatebreed on Twitter. Awesome. And Facebook is, I think it's just Hatebreed. I'm not sure, but I'm sure you could tell which one's the real. There's some fakes out there every now and then, but there's
look for the little blue check marks, man. Look for the little verified check marks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, thanks again for your time, brother. And I hope you stay safe, and hopefully we get to jam out at that Aftershock show in October.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if it happens and I end up going, I'm definitely going to go if it happens. So I'll hit you up and we'll hang out.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right, man. See you later.